Even though the UK recorded the fastest growth last year since 2007, we saw a slowdown in the fourth quarter. Today I'm joined by Ben Knight from Warwick Business School. Ben, what does this mean for the country's recovery? And do you think the loss of momentum in the final quarter might be temporary or prolonged?
I always felt that this recovery was rather fragile and has fragile features. Its origins lie mainly in growth of demand, particularly from the consuming sector, though in 2014 from the business sector as well, and mainly resulting from a response to prolonged low interest rates. And that kind of recovery tends to last and then peter out. What we haven't seen in the recovery is sustained improvement in productivity. And that reflects the fact that the UK hasn't actually dealt with the underlying structural weaknesses which have dogged it almost since I was a student. You can't see me, but it was a long time ago. And I think that tends to make me feel that weakness, those structural weaknesses, that any upturn is going to be fragile and always at the risk of ending. And I think so to that extent, what happened in the fourth quarter doesn't surprise me, and because it simply confirms my expectation that it is fragile. Of course, the other element in the story, which I think has to be borne in mind, is that the global economy, the IMF has recently reported, is and has slowing down. The UK is fortunate in that two of its major markets for its exports, India and the US, don't show that slowing down, but there is evidence of a slowing down, and obviously, most importantly, and you're speaking from Switzerland, from a Swiss point of view as well, our major customers in the export markets, notwithstanding what I just said, are in the European Union and the Euro area, and that's obviously slowing down and undergoing some fairly challenging circumstances. Now, my expectation would be that this slowdown will continue into 2015, but it may not last through the whole of 2015. Economics is a bit like that, ifs and ands and pots and pans. The other things happening, and of course the most important thing that's happening in the European market, is the announcement of quantitative easing from the European Central Bank. Now, if that works and actually stimulates the European economy, that's going to be good for Europe, and it's obviously going to be good for the UK, and any slowdown that happens in the UK may just be temporary. But we don't know. We can't be sure. And my sense, my basic view of this recovery leads me to think that the slowdown could be prolonged. I'm not saying that the recovery is going to end. I'm just saying a slowdown will be more characteristic. What happened in the fourth quarter may become the characteristics for all the quarter in 2014.
Ben, construction data dragged down fourth quarter figures. Did you find this data surprising?
Well, I'm doing this interview from my home office, and just over the road I see lots of houses being built, and so from that point of view it's a surprise. But I'm actually not surprised by that at all, because to go back to my earlier point, one of the structural reforms that hasn't taken place in the UK is the creation of a proper set of institutions to produce high-quality, skilled employees of the kind that happens in Switzerland. I would hold Switzerland up as probably the best example of doing this in Europe, and the UK is way behind, and the construction sector is a very bad example. And so what I think this is telling us, this slowdown in construction, and I've actually just been talking to somebody who works in the construction industry, is large skill shortages. You know too well, because you're Irish, that Ireland was frequently the source of labour into skilled labour into the UK construction industry, but that doesn't happen anymore, and doesn't happen on the scale that is needed. So And when I look out, I am surprised. But when I think what the problems of the construction industry in the UK are, I'm not surprised. There's just not enough skilled workers to enable production to proceed. They're putting up houses, but they're probably putting them up more slowly than they would like, given this fundamental skill constraint that has afflicted the UK for, well, almost forever.
Ben, a pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll speak sometime very soon. Well, viewers, do not go away. We have plenty more heading your way. See you very soon.